Hello guys, welcome to this soap making class. The first thing we're going to do is to make sure you have your calculations right. It's not a must for you to use the recipes I've given to you. They are very effective recipe, but if you want to tweak it into your own, you can easily work with the percentage, remove or add some. So if you don't know how to calculate in percentage to gram, it's very easy. So if you see any recipe, or if you actually register for classes that uses percentage, all you have to do is know the total batch of the production you are doing, and you can kick up from there. So the first things I'm going to do now is to measure out our soap. I gave you guys 40%, and the batch size that is written in the ebook is 150 gram. So but I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to make 100 gram. That's the batch size, the size of the soap that I'm going to make. So the first thing I'm going to do is to calculate. So what you do is, since we have 40% of the soaps, all the soaps you're going to use, so you do 40 over 100. That's 40 divided by 100 times the batch size. That is where you're going to get your gram, your measurements for the soap. So do you understand? So let me explain it again. So for the percentage, all you have to do is 40 all over 100 times the batch size. That's the 150 gram up on the ebook. You see it by the side. Divide that is times that 150. It will give you the size you're supposed to measure to make your product. So that will now give you, if it's 40 divided by 100 times 150, it will give you 60 gram. So that's the measurement. So that's how you will calculate for the other recipes also, based on the soap that I've given you. You can decide to just tweak it, remove some, but make sure the percentage goes down to 100 to make your soap and your formulations very effective. So right now I'm going to start with the measurements for the soap. So I'm doing 100 gram. So what I've done is I've calculated for the 40% of the soap. So 40 divided by 100 times 100 is going to give us 40 grams. So what I'm going to do, we are using 4 types of soap, so I am going to use 4 gram each for the 4 types of soap. So we're going to calculate if that is okay. So right now I'm going to measure for the soap. My calculation is 40 gram. So the black soap you're going to use 10 gram, and the other soaps you're going to use 10 gram. But I want the black soap to be more plenty than the other soap. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use 20 gram of the black soap. Then the rest I'll just do the remaining grams for the other soaps. So stay tuned where I measure out everything, then come back and show you how it's done. So guys, so I've measured out the soap. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure that I scatter the soap into tiny pieces, just like this. If you're making bigger batch and you don't want to pound it, you can decide to use a stick blender or an industrial blender, which would be more preferable and more easier too. So I'm just going to scatter it because it's blend. I'm going to use a stick blender to blend it, and also I don't want to heat it on the fire, but that depends on you. You can decide to heat it, but the soap is already soft, so you don't need to hit it. This one is a bit hard, but I'm still going to try to scatter it into smaller pieces so that it will be easy, very easy for me to blend. So if you have any question with coming up with your formulations, you can send me, or if you already have your formulations, because you have 3 months courtesy for this soap, class. Once you get my ebook, I'll be putting you through for like 3 months until you understand what you're doing. But definitely I'm not going to write out recipe for you. You have to be the one to come up with your own recipe, then I'll assess it for you to see how it's going to be effective and see how I can make adjustments to it for you guys. So here I'm done. You can see the soap. This is the white soap. This is the 3 days whitening buzz, the green one. Then this is the ozone soap, and this is the black soap. So those are the 3 soaps I'm using for this production. So let's go out and measure the powders, then I'll be back. So guys, I am done measuring out the powders. Right here we have turmeric, we have snow white powder, we have mulberry, we have licorice powder, we have neem powder, we have oatmeal powder, we have carrots powder, we have orange powder, we have kojic acid powder, then we have our lemon powder, and we have our vitamin C powder, we have our chamomile, because this one I'm going to blend it, so it's going to, you have to blend it to be powder first if you're not going to blend, if you're going to pound. Because I'm going to blend this, so I'm just going to add it like this. So we have our goat's milk powder here, then right in here we have our liquid, we have our skin free milk, we have our lightning glycerin, we have our preservative already in here, we have our aloe juice, then we have our standard lotion and rose water. So right here we have the oils, amazing coconut oil and sunflower oil. Then you can add other oils that you want to use, but work around with the percentage. So right here we have our oil. So the first thing we're going to do now is to, since you're blending, first thing you're going to do is to, I'm going to add you can dissolve the powders if you want to, that's a choice. You can decide to dissolve the powders. So right now I'm going to add the powders before the liquid. So oops, so I'm going to pour in the powders. Mulberry is kind of a bit sticky once it touches water, so you have to be careful working with it. Keep this outside. So This powders with the soap, so I'm going to go in with the liquid. If you feel the liquid is not too much, you can still add a bit of rose water to it, but I'm not going to do that because I want the soap to be very, very thick. So by the time I blend it, it will become very fluffy. You can see it has mixed with the soap. So the next thing we're going to add is our oils. You can see the way it is. You can decide to leave it, let it sit for 24 hours, then you blend or you pound with your mortar. So now right now I'm going to blend it. Like I said, you can decide to heat it up if you want to. So like this also goes for all these soaps. So it's my blender. So if you're making the other soaps, you have to still measure them out. So it's very easy. If you're working with the luxurious soap, all you have to do is, like I said, scatter the soap into pieces. So it should be very easy for you to walk around with. So right now I'm going to blend. It's my stick blender. Stick blender works perfectly for making the soap come out very fluffy. So I'm just going to walk around with this. The wire is too long, so okay. On the jet. Spray. Measuring the powder, don't say okay, let me jar it looks small. Don't do that. Don't advisable. What is given to you so that you will have a very effective soap. So this is how it's okay, this is our whitening blacks. If you're making for children, work with the measurements and the recipes that I've already given you. You don't need to add anything into those ones, because when it comes to children's skin, they are very, very extremely sensitive. And for preservatives, for children, it's best to use German Plus because it's milder than oxygen. So it's milder than phenylethanoid. So that's the other name for oxygen. So we are all done with the soap. Soap is ready. I like to sit for like 2 days before you start using it. So if you're having any irritation on the soap, is because you did not add what we call oat milk, which stops irritation, or other materials that they use for irritating skin that helps to soften and stop the itchy of the skin. So please do a patch test before you start using it, so to know if it's going to react to your skin and all that. I know black soap is extremely alkaline, so make sure you add enough oil so that it won't dry up your skin. So I'm done. You can see the soap came out pretty well. So that is how it's done.